Long lines of early voters may be good news to Democrats in Florida. The Democratic Party has been urging supporters to cast ballots before Election Day to make sure their votes are counted on election night. For Republicans, the focus is on absentee ballots for people who prefer to send their vote by mail. Democratic supporters say early voting allows time to fix problems with voter registration or avoid long delays on Election Day.
If I should have any complications, rather than wait till election day, say I get up and they say, well, I'm not registered here or whatever reason, I gotta have time to rectify it.
Crowds, like heavily Democratic places put 2 machines in, and Republican places they'll put 14, 15. It's just it's slanted.
Florida Democrats say they have good reason to be wary. Many point to the disputed 2000 presidential election, which President Bush won by a margin of just over 500 votes in Florida. Democrats contend confusing ballots in Palm Beach County and other ballot problems cost Al Gore the election. Sean Foreman is a political scientist at Barry University in Miami.
What happened in the 2000 election, for some people it's water under the bridge, it's history. For other people, they truly believe that their votes were robbed, that the election was rigged, and that it was stolen. And so we cannot have the perception of these same miscues happening this time.
Since then, Florida has expanded early voting options and passed reforms to avoid a repeat of the 2000 problems. One new law, however, has raised concerns.
You can register to vote at the blue tent.
Florida voters must use an ID card that matches the data provided on voter registration forms with the state. Advocates say it blocks ineligible voters from registering and casting ballots. Critics say the law may reject ballots from eligible voters, for example, if they have changed addresses. Registration problems often come down to bureaucratic errors, not fraud, says Kevin Wagner, a political scientist at Florida Atlantic University.
There's a difference between bad registrations and fraudulent voting, which I think people are missing. There's no evidence, none that I've seen so far, that there's any mass attempts to defraud the voting system. There are some people collecting signatures that, don't fill them out right. There are bureaucrats that don't type them in well.
Lawyers for the Democratic and Republican parties will deploy across the state on Election Day to guard against problems. Sean Foreman says the added vigilance in Florida may have a mixed result.
I think it's good that the legal teams are ready and have their eyes open for potential problems, but I hope that, again, they don't find problems where they don't necessarily exist.
Foreman says legal troubles are a big factor when races are very close, as in 2000. Polls show the outcome in Florida this year will not be clear until Election Day. Brian Wagner, VOA News.